Welcome back to Prescribed Vibes. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Sierra, and this is going to be part two of our trauma series that we started last episode.
So, if you haven't listened to part one, please go back because we broke down what trauma actually is and how it shows up, and it'll make a whole lot more sense if you listen to part one first.
And so today we're going to take that a step further. Okay, I see it now. What do I do about it? So we'll probably get a little more in depth too about the science and the neurobiology, what's happening in your body about trauma today as well.
And with that said, awareness is not enough. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And I actually just wrote a newsletter to my clients about that and building capacity. So that's what our first segment will be about.
Yeah, we can be really self-aware, and then that's kind of where the buck stops. We don't know what to do with it. I know these things, I'm aware of them, I'm thinking about them, I'm talking about them, but I don't know how to actually make change and what to do with this awareness that we have.
Right. And we can understand our trauma intellectually all day long. I've been there. I intellectually have gotten it. I can train on it.
But our nervous system is still going to react in the same way. We're going to have distress. We're going to have beliefs and emotions that come up when we think about whatever these traumatic experiences are until we're able to implement some other things to work through that.
Yes, because trauma isn't just in our thoughts, it's in our bodies.
Yeah, so healing has to involve our body, not just our mind.
So let's simplify this. Healing trauma starts with one thing, and that's safety.
Safety is huge. That's really, I'm sure you guys have heard me say it before, that's all our brain cares about, wanting to be safe. When we have experiences that we have not made sense of yet, to our brain, information it doesn't understand is immediately filed away into the unsafe category. Until it is able to assign meaning and understand it, it will trigger an alarm within you that says, this stuff isn't safe, be on alert. So, not just knowing I'm safe, but our body feeling safe.
And that takes practice. So, what does that actually look like in real life? How do you know if your body is feeling safe?
Yeah, it's not always just meditate for 30 minutes.
Right. Yes, exactly. And some people think that, okay, I'm just going to meditate, go for a walk. It's sometimes it's way simpler than that, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, slow down your breath.
Or putting your feet on the ground and noticing where you are. I know you've heard both of us talk about the five things you can, so this your senses, what you can smell, what you can see, trying to ground yourself.
Yeah, so talking about our senses, you can use any of them. Holding something cold, like ice or a cold drink, imagining warming your hands over a fire could even help.
Yes, I like that. The different sensations or bilateral stimulation. You've heard us talk about EMDR, or you can tap, right? Do the butterfly hug where you tap from left to right or tap on your legs.
Yep. Cross your arms over your chest, tap your right hand on your left shoulder, your left hand on your right shoulder, and just alternate one and then the other, one and then the other. That's kind of a biohacking approach that I'm a big fan of. But what you're doing is telling your nervous system, hey, we're okay right now, we're safe. Come back to the present.
And this is what's really important, and I'm going to emphasize is consistency. So, a lot of times I tell clients the work we're doing is not just in session, I'm modeling, we're practicing. That's why I'm asking, how is your body feeling right now? What are you feeling right now? Not because it's cliche and we're in therapy, it's for you to get used to that language, for you to get used to asking yourself, how am I feeling right now? And doing it not just when you're overwhelmed, but being proactive, checking in with yourself throughout the day.
Definitely being proactive because once we're in that heightened arousal state, it's not as easy to implement these things. It's not as easy to remember them. So doing all that practice ahead of time makes it more readily available to your brain when it is time to use it. And it's like trying to dump a cup of water on a forest fire at that point. So trying to be proactive and regulate in almost like intervals, checking in with ourselves. How are we doing? Hey, just remember we're okay. Be here now in our body. But let's talk about reactions because that's where trauma really shows up the most.
Yeah, so we're going to differentiate, right? Reacting versus responding. A reaction is automatic, it just comes out, it can be impulsive.
Yeah, and a response is intentional, and that's where we have a little more control. That's where our power lies, is in our response.
And the space between the two, you've heard this word, is regulation.
So instead of immediately snapping, shutting down, or spiraling,
You pause. And just said this to a client the other day. I said, remember, take a pause. Just
pause for
try
the
to,
cause.
yes, listen to your body and you feel it. That's your signal. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a step back. Maybe it's I need to go for a walk, or I need to talk to you later about this, or just take a breath and feel what is going on.
Even if it's just for a few seconds, I think that's a common misconception in our mind is that, oh, it's going to take me so long to do this thing that I need to do in order to regulate or make a different choice. But sometimes taking a 30-minute little mental health vacation. Did I
Yes,
say 30-minute?
I think so.
Sometimes sometimes just taking like a little 30-second break to take a quick mental vacation, go to your safe place, do some breathing, ground, can be the difference between a day that is absolutely detrimental and a day that we get through all right.
But now that you said 30 minutes, if you need 30 minutes or if you need longer, there have been situations where I identify, oh, like I feel triggered, I feel something going on, I'm activated, and a few seconds isn't enough. I need to actually be with my body and myself before I respond. And that's totally okay. And that may happen more often than you think, because if you're practicing this and you are tuning in with your body, it may take a little bit longer.
When we have the time, take it. When we
Yes.
don't, still find your moments because it is doable. It's just a matter of intention. I don't care if it's while you use the restroom at work for the day or while you're walking from one location to the other. Regulate your breathing, quiet your thoughts. You can do it while you are going about your day to just come back to the center of yourself and remind yourself that you're safe and you're okay.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you said going to the bathroom, like, okay, I need actually a timeout. I'm going to go for a little walk. So, we're going to talk about rewiring patterns, because here's the part that people don't always want to hear. Healing requires doing something different, right? If you're going to keep doing the same thing, it's going to be very difficult to heal. So, keep that in mind.
Yeah, and we don't always know what that means, what that looks like, what to do. And so that's where we get stuck often in that intellectual space. So seeking out therapy, getting some guidance can be really helpful in that, but it definitely is work. And so we can't keep choosing the same behaviors and expecting a different outcome.
Right. And identifying your patterns, that's something that we definitely cover in therapy. But if you do some self-reflecting and you identify it's people pleasing,
And then healing might look like saying no and tolerating the discomfort of that. Boundaries feel so aggressive when you are not used to setting them.
yes. And tolerating the discomfort is about building that capacity. And with time and the consistency I talked about, it'll get easier and easier. So another example is if your pattern is shutting down.
If your pattern's shutting down, healing might look like staying in the conversation a little longer than you want to. And again, it's just about increasing that window of tolerance. Think about a bubble being around you. That bubble is your like safe zone, your comfort zone. We just want to be pushing on that bubble here and there where we can to expand it a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. I feel like that's a helpful visualization. Make your bubble bigger. It doesn't have to go from tiny to humongous, but just a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. We're going to be able to go further and go further.
Hmm. Until at first it's going to feel uncomfortable, but like you said, you just try to stretch yourself a little bit each time.
Yeah, and that's a reminder that I give to my clients is reframe that discomfort as growth because that's what's happening in that space. I'm uncomfortable right now, but it's a safe uncomfortable, and I'm doing it with intention, by design, with purpose. So I'm safe. This discomfort is growth happening. And if we can look at it as growth rather than being uncomfortable, that feeling
Hmm.
unsafe, then we can usually convince ourselves to stay in it a little bit longer. So another big piece is our thoughts. Your thoughts are not always truth, and the automatic thought that first comes up, we don't have control over that, but we have control over the next one.
Yes, our thoughts. Oh my goodness. That is so key to be able to have that awareness, identify, wait, this is my brain, my mind is creating a story right now, and trauma creates stories.
It absolutely does. It's these core beliefs that impact the way that we see ourselves and the world, the way we choose to navigate it. So stories like, I'm not safe, I'm not chosen, I can't trust people.
And those thoughts, we've said it before, they may feel super real. They may feel like that is your reality, but those thoughts, they're not always true.
No. And so part of healing is identifying those thoughts and then challenging them, deciding, you know what, I'm not choosing this story anymore. It doesn't work for me.
And sometimes it may feel like you're forcing yourself, but it's not forcing yourself to believe something fake. And that's where the reframes come in. I'm working on changing this thought. I'm recognizing, and this thought isn't helpful.
Yeah, it's opening up to the possibility that there's another perspective. Your perspective is your reality. I say that all the time. And we have control over our perspective, which is, again, just super empowering.
It is. It's extremely empowering to be able to recognize it and talk it out with someone or listen to music. It's not about just, oh, here are my thoughts. You can still do things that are self-soothing, but the point is not to believe everything you think. So, let's be honest, healing it's not always calm or peaceful or
No.
I'm picturing and visualizing that wavy line that we talk about healing when we see that line that looks like a roller coaster.
Hmm.
Picture something like that.
Yeah, it's messy. One of my clients was just telling me a few days ago, she's like, she had something come across her social media that was like, what I thought healing would be like. And it's rainbows and butterflies and sunshine. And then what healing actually is. And it's like crawling through the trenches in a
Oh yeah,
rainstorm. It's like, yeah,
absolutely. Or
it's,
that like video when they're like going down the roller coaster, like holding on to each other or just falling into the water.
yeah, it is. I think I had compared it in the moment to like a phoenix. You know, a phoenix gets reborn, but it has to burn to ash before it can be. And that's really, as visceral as that sounds, kind of what the process is. And again, if it were easy, everyone would do it. We're not here to say that trauma work is easy, healing and growing is easy. It's absolutely not, but it's so worth it. When we go into it with the right expectations of, okay, I am pursuing this endeavor that is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. And so my expectations are set to this not being sunshine and rainbows, but it being pretty treacherous for a bit. But I know what's on the other side is worth it. So we're not so caught off guard by, why is this so hard? Why does everything hurt so much? Why is it so exhausting? That's what people say too. Like, oh, I'm just so tired. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
here
you're
is your
working hard. And that's what I also set the expectations with clients that haven't done therapy before, or even if they have, it's like, oh, this feels different. Yes, because it's not always going to feel warm and fuzzy, and you're just, yay, I'm in therapy. No, it's work. It's a lot of stretching yourself, feeling feelings you didn't know that were there, and part of the healing not being linear, you're going to have days where you feel like you've grown so much.
And then you'll have days where you feel like you are back at square one and you panic and you come into our office and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had grown so much, but now look where I am.
Right. Yeah. And that it does not mean that you're not healing when that happens.
Nope, it means that you're human. Our our brain has muscle memory and it will revert back to things. And so while we've like taken this new path, it's gonna still be drawn to the old path as well. So expect there to be variation and to kind of go back and forth. I kind of like a pendulum swinging
Hmm.
until we land where we're supposed to land. So at the
Yeah.
core of all of this, something we've discussed before, I'm pretty sure we have a whole episode on it, go listen to it if you haven't, is self-trust.
I love that episode on self-trust because it makes so much sense too with this episode. Trauma often disconnects you from trusting yourself. That's where stories might kick in and negative core beliefs kick in. I'm not good enough. I can't trust anyone. I did something wrong. I have guilt. You know, just all sorts of negative self-doubt that we tell ourselves.
So healing isn't just about changing behaviors, it's about realizing that you have been right there by your own side the whole time and you've gotten yourself through all of those experiences that feel so scary and overwhelming to this day.
And in addition to that, I would add it's about rebuilding the relationship with yourself, self discovery, doing things you haven't done before, sitting with the discomfort, like we said. It's It's so many things. It is uncomfortable, but it's also there's a lot of pride, I think, that goes with it when you realize, wow, I didn't react that way, or I'm doing something different and I did it. This is awesome. Go me. Like I didn't react in the same way, or I made a different choice. So there is so much to it.
Yes, that's why it's a roller coaster of ups and downs and highs and lows and wins and what maybe feel like losses, but they're just dips in the process. So trusting that we can handle hard emotions. I ask clients all the time, what do you think is going to happen if
Mhm.
you feel it? So we talk through that.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think will happen? Well, I don't know. I might have a panic attack, or I might not be able to get out of it. And with that, also trusting that you can set boundaries. I know that can be very difficult to set the boundaries, taking space, saying no, doing what feels right for your nervous system, but trusting that you can do it and you can start small too.
And trusting that you're gonna be okay, even when things feel uncertain. That's something I reiterate a lot is I may not know what is gonna happen, but I trust myself to be able to be resourceful and resilient and figure it out when it does reveal itself, whatever it is. So I don't need to worry. I trust future me to get through it.
And even if you get stuck where you don't know if you can trust yourself, you can ask yourself questions. What are my resources? What tools can I use? Do I need to talk to someone? If you're still working on self-trust, that's okay. But remembering that you have more opportunities and more resources that you can actually use than you probably realize. So ask yourself those questions.
And there's ways that you're doing that and you don't even realize there's a function and a reason behind every response and reaction that we do. They're just sometimes a little misinformed, misguided, and need some calibration. So it's even helpful to understand, like, oh, I responded this way because I was trying to protect myself, but just in the only way that I knew how. And so I can forgive myself for that and learn a new way. There's so much to understanding ourselves. And again, that's really where showing up to therapy consistently and having someone teach you a lot about yourself can be really valuable.
Totally. And now that you say that, the teaching, the education piece of learning, not just about ourselves, but really how else can I approach it? Like, what are some communication skills I need to learn, right? Or what are some other healthier thoughts that I can adopt that I hadn't even thought about? Sometimes we don't have access to that because it's never been modeled for us, or we just don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. I say all the time, if we learned about psychology and neurobiology in school growing up just like we do any of the other classes that we have, what a different world this would be.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
We
I
wouldn't have
wish.
jobs very well, but
Yeah, I wish there was
but
a
honestly,
class.
worth it.
Right? I would love that if there was a mental health class and as an elective even.
I know I have heard some schools, like high schools, have psychology electives and things like that. I was never presented with that opportunity myself, but I feel like it should be part of the core curriculum,
I
like teaching
agree.
humans about themselves and how they work. I've seen like these memes and stuff, but I mean, it's literally crime prevention. It's literally keeping people safe within themselves and around everyone else, right? Like it's suicide prevention, it's crime prevention when people understand themselves and learn how to process the things they need to process and regulate their emotions and shift their perspectives and their beliefs. Like that's that would be world altering.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Even the concept of CBT, understanding how our thoughts affect our feelings, our actions, that wasn't introduced to me until I was in corporate America. One thing we want you to take from this, what do you think that would
It's
be?
that I think it's that healing is possible. I mean, so many of us feel like, well, this is just how I am. This is what happened to me. I can't do anything about it. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably don't believe that. But but there are a lot of people out there who think that they're just kind of sentenced to the version of themselves that they are, the experiences that they have. Healing is possible.
And it doesn't require you to be perfect. No such thing.
No, you just have to be willing and show up and do the hard thing, even if you do it at 2% to start out.
I was just going to say, even if you do it slowly, that is okay. I always compare it to working out. Even if you just do 10 minutes, it's okay. Being willing, participating, starting small.
Yep, there's so many correlations between being physically active and being mentally well. And so starting small and staying consistent. Do it regularly, no matter in what way you have to show up, if you have to get creative about it, but just be consistent with your
Being,
efforts.
yep. Being patient as well, being kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you're not the growth that you'd like to be at.
Yeah, beating yourself up has never helped anyone.
Heal.
It no, it might push you further, but it's pushing you further in a darker direction.
Right. And we have other issues to, yeah.
Yeah, be a friend to yourself, be your own cheerleader, be kind with yourself. No one knows better than you how much you're struggling with it. So the audacity of yourself to be unkind about that.
The audacity.
The audacity. So thank you guys for listening and showing up. I do think we will expand on this a little bit more because I'm sure we both want to maybe talk more specifically about EMDR. I want to get really nerdy about the neurobiology aspect of
That, and
things.
we can give you an example too, right? We can probably go do a
Oh
deep
my
dive
gosh,
on
you want to
example.
do some mock EMDR on the
Oh,
pod?
we could, yes.
That would be wild.
That
Okay, we'll think about that.
would be fun. People can actually hear how it goes down.
Yeah, I think that could be helpful, honestly. It's so even just explaining to people what EMDR is, sometimes it's like, okay, hold on, put on your tinfoil hat, sit down.
Right, yes. They're like, huh? Oh
I'm like,
no.
let me just show you.
Is it hypnosis?
You know, it's hypnosis's cousin.
Right, yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. Again, if you have any questions, feedback, please let us know. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email us. We're also on LinkedIn. I post on my name, Stephanie Balistracci. And yes, let us know how we can improve or questions you have.
Today's vibes are prescribed as courageous because it takes a lot of courage to do this work, but it's so worth it. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.